The following episode will contain spoilers. You have been warned.
You're listening to Cinema IRL, the podcast that throws you into the movie and asks the question, what would you do? Today, Von Murder joins Amber and Scott to give a different point of view for today's movie. Abraham's Boys, A Dracula Story. And now, Cinema IRL.
I wish I could switch places for just one day.
What would you do?
Put yourself in my shoes.
How do we handle this?
What would you do?
Put yourself in my position.
What would you do?
Now it's your turn. I didn't realize this was a superhero movie.
Hello, Von Murder.
Hi.
For those who aren't aware, Von Murder is our vampire correspondent, along with Jimmy, who is our zombie correspondent. And
Don't say his name. He isn't of airtime here.
Okay.
It is my time.
Okay. Alrighty. So anyway, we have some correspondents to help us with certain topics, and Von Murder here is dropping in because this was a vampire-related film.
Yeah, I'm letting him take over.
Okay.
I mean, I'll chime in maybe here and there, but listen, when this guy's got something on his mind, I usually just let him get it off.
That's smart of you.
Alrighty.
Real smart.
Folks, this episode, we are talking about Abraham's Boys, a Dracula story. Max and Rudy Van Helsing have spent their lives under the strict and overprotective rule of their father, Abraham. Unaware of his dark past, they struggle to understand his paranoia and increasingly erratic behavior. But when they begin to uncover the violent truths behind their father's history with Dracula, their world unravels, forcing them to confront the terrifying legacy that they were never meant to inherit. I didn't really see this description in the movie that we watched. Like, they talked about ungodly creatures and creatures that drank blood, but they never really referenced Dracula.
Everyone knows Van Helsing's an asshole. He's basically the Hitler for vampires.
Okay, well, I didn't know that.
I did.
Well, being a vampire, I'm sure that this is definitely stuff that you keep up with.
It's pretty much one of the first things we're taught in vampire school.
Okay, that makes sense. So
Not all heroes wear capes.
Okay, but
I'm referring to Abraham's Boys.
okay. So we basically have Abraham and his wife who had two boys with someone before she married Abraham. And I don't like this description because I feel like it really doesn't represent the movie that we saw. But his wife gets sick at some point, but she's still doing okay.
She got her veins drained.
But she's not a vampire. At least she doesn't seem to be.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily turn you. It's not like zombies.
Okay. Well, how does that work? I mean, that's why we love to have you here, Von Murder, so you can actually help us understand the facts and the fiction behind vampires.
Yeah, you basically become a puppet.
Okay. What does that mean exactly?
I think my veins in your neck. Then I can kind of make you do what I want. Kind of. But if I'm not close, like, you can do whatever you want.
Okay. So in the film, Abraham did reference getting some distance between his wife and the old world.
Yes.
Okay. So that really had to do with if you have enough distance between yourself and whoever made you, that you actually have the ability to live a normal life. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, if you properly took care of the puncture wounds in your neck, yeah.
Really? Okay. Well, that's interesting. I don't think I knew that.
I usually don't care about the control. I'm usually just thirsty.
Okay. All right. So the mom dies, and it seems like Abraham's actually making her sick. At least that's what one of the sons suspects. What is your take on that?
He's an asshole.
Okay.
He probably was.
Okay.
Like I said, he's basically the Hitler for vampires. Screw that guy.
Okay. So we have our two boys, Rudy and Max. And it doesn't seem like there's any sort of strain with them and Abraham before the mom passes away. And the oldest son, Max, seems to be suspicious of him. And then Max and Rudy, they discover a woman in the basement. And Abraham discovers them discovering the woman in the basement and basically says that she's a thing, she needs to be destroyed, but she just seemed like a woman. Like she didn't seem like there was anything wrong with her other than she was just a woman who was trapped in a basement. What is your take on that? Like what was happening there?
Inconclusive.
Okay. So do we think that maybe she was like the wife where she had been bitten, but she hadn't actually transformed into something yet? I mean, was he trying to curb the population before the population grew? Was it a preemptive measure?
I think that's what he thought.
Okay.
Whether or not it was true, I don't know. Like, I thought that he was mostly on the right path. Mm-hmm. Until he came up to that last chick. She clearly was not a vampire. She had not been turned.
Yeah, and I don't know how well we can move forward with what we do here. So what we do here, obviously, as you know at this point, is what would you do if you were in the character's shoes? You being a vampire, I'm asking you to put yourself into a human's shoes for some of these questions. Is that all right?
I mean, I might get Scott. He knows this shit a little better than me.
Okay. Well.
Oh, you're going to let me speak. Wonderful. Wow. Thank you.
So one of the themes worth exploring here is what would you do if you were one of the boys and you realize your dad's kind of a whack job, that he has been hiding people in the basement, that he wants you to put wooden stakes into their hearts and chop off their heads, and is trying to protect you and make you live in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it's kind of funny that Von Murder would bring up Hitler, because it turned out later, once the war was over, I was just following orders didn't count as a defense. You couldn't use that.
Right.
And I think it's kind of the same thing here. Like, hey, you need to murder this person. I don't know about that, Dad. I don't know. Maybe I don't.
Because there's really no evidence. I mean, the boys all of a sudden just see a woman who's locked up in the basement. There's nothing about her that feels off or scary or sinister or dangerous. She's just a woman trapped in a basement. And yet Abraham is telling his sons she's bad and you need to drive a stake through her heart. That's difficult to wrap your head around at any age, much less that if you're a young or teenage kid.
I mean, most of the legend involving Van Helsing is not things that happened in California, that's for sure.
Well, I'm not familiar with the Van Helsing or any of that.
He's basically the original Buffy.
Don't say her name. I don't like her either.
Oh, I like Buffy.
Screw you.
Not the movie Buffy, the TV Buffy.
Still screw you.
But, you know, it was clear in Buffy the Vampire Slayer who was a vampire / bad guy and who wasn't. And that's where the disconnect in this film is every person just looked like any other person. So to say that they were evil, you didn't have any evidence to back that up. So what would you do if you were one of the kids and your dad all of a sudden is like, hey, evil, we're surrounded by evil. You need to drive a stake through this person's heart.
I think he became so obsessed with his life's work that he was willing to try to find it even where it didn't exist.
You know what? I think that's actually a very astute observation. I hadn't really thought about that, but he did leave the old country, came to California, came to America, and put themselves out in the middle of an unpopulated area. So, yeah, if you are someone who feels like they have a mission to fulfill, anyone who has the misfortune of showing up in your life could very easily be like targeted and executed.
Yeah, like she's a little mouthy. She must be a vampire.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about it in that way, but I think you're right. When you start being a suspicious person, everyone is suspicious.
Yeah, I think you hit a point of delirium where you start seeing things that aren't there, that maybe other people aren't seeing, and then you're trying to teach your kids your delirium. And yeah, maybe there were some issues you had back in an area where this was more prevalent. But yeah, this is California. Like, not really a big deal out here. I don't know. I think. I think there's no question that the mom had an encounter.
Oh, she did. Trust me, she did.
Oh, I'm glad you know. Thanks. So there was something going on there, but I don't know. It wasn't good storytelling.
So, what would you do if you were the oldest brother, Max, who sees his younger brother, Rudy, terrified over what's happening, terrified over what his dad is doing and saying, and is telling Rudy, hey, your turn to go stabby stabby. What would you do as an older brother? You do have brothers. You know, what does that look like? What would you do if you were in Max's shoes?
Chop off the dad's head.
Well, and that's
earlier.
Yeah, that is ultimately what did happen later in the film.
I mean, Dad was going a little cuckoo caca, and in some ways, I actually kind of saw him a little bit like the mom from 28 years later, just very militaristic. This is the way it is. I'm doing what I'm doing to save my family and keep everybody safe, and anything that even remotely makes me fear that becomes a target. And to a point of delusion. Now, I think it separates a little bit where, again, I think he saw threats where there weren't. Or maybe there were. See, that's the problem. The storytelling was so bad that you never actually know whether or not there's truly a vampire lurking around.
Yeah, and that's why I actually take issue with this description. It's because they make it seem like Dracula is part of this film. He's never mentioned. Vampires are mentioned, but we never hear anything specific about Dracula.
I thought it was funny at the beginning. They said Dracula died 18 years later. No. You might have thought you got him.
He's alive and well.
We hung out and played poker last week. He's not dead.
Okay, who won?
Poker?
Yeah, who won poker?
I did.
Are you sure?
Yeah, we were playing like quarters though, so it didn't matter.
Ah, okay. All right. So I guess another character to explore from a what would you do standpoint is a visitor that they have that knew their family back when they were abroad. And Abraham had convinced this man that his wife was unholy and got him to kill her. And now some time has passed, and this person is in California and wants to visit Abraham and his family and realizes the wife's died and is now having a crisis of conscience and thinking, oh, shoot, you convinced me to kill the person that I loved most in this world. I murdered her. You know, what do you do with that, Scott or Von Murder? You know, when someone has that killer's regret, almost.
I mean, what do you do with killer's regret? You can't bring them back. What's killer's regret? Ha ha!
Yeah.
No, seriously, I don't even know.
Yeah, regret is probably not an emotion you're super tapped into, is it?
No.
So
I regret nothing.
Well, but I think that was really the point. Is this man began to question: was I tricked or lured into doing something? Because time has passed, and I don't feel good about what I did, and I certainly don't feel good about what I see you doing.
Weak-minded bitch.
You think he should? Well, see, but why are you advocating for him? Because he took out one of your kind. Like,
maybe. See, we're taught that Van Helsing was a vampire killer. I mean, there's not a lot in history to go back on for actual vampire killers.
okay,
It's possible that he never killed a vampire. He just killed humans, and he thought they were vampires.
I mean,
Maybe they just had sharp teeth.
do you think there's any sort of mental illness here? You know, that feeling of being under threat and needing to protect yourself and your family?
Near the end, absolutely. Yeah. Actually, I completely agree. He was clearly, he had become so singularly focused on things, and it was delusion. I mean, it really was delusion. And Von Murder actually made a good point. We don't know for a fact whether or not he actually ever killed vampires. I mean,
He could have just been killing people.
yeah, and
Because we didn't
it's
see any signs.
I mean, if you look at the Salem witch trials, yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, you think you were killing witches? Y'all dumb motherfuckers. We're thinking if she floats, she's a witch. If she sinks, she's human. Either way, she's dead.
That's true. Also, too, we try and keep it PG here, Von Murder.
Yeah. What's your point?
Yeah, definitely. In the witch trials, if you were a woman who was wrongly accused, and kind of weren't they all?
I was about to say, who was rightly accused?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, either way you died. You either, if you were a witch, you saved yourself and did something that was perceived as magic and got killed, or if you were a human, you were set up to die. There was definitely a no-win situation there.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to take care of things they didn't understand. And
Well, it's like back in-
that was different from them.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I think today you call them Republicans.
so you look back at very primitive times, and it used to be that the sun came or an eclipse came, and then it would be, what kind of voodoo magic is this? And the gods are upset, or rain, and rain dances to create rain, and the gods were happy. I mean, so much in history happens or doesn't happen based on people's limited perception of the truth.
You mean like vaccines? I know you don't want to make it political,
Yeah, oh my goodness.
but here I am.
That's great. That's great. Okay. So final thoughts, Scott or Von Murder, on Abraham's Boys.
I think it was just a poorly told story, and that's the problem, is that it's hard to know whether or not Abraham really was acting like, it's possible everyone he killed was a vampire.
Well,
Or it's possible none of the people he killed were vampires. And it's just, they didn't do a good enough job of truly letting us know.
Why do you think that that's an accident? I mean, is every movie just clear cut, very simple? This is the way it is. There's lots of open to interpretation on films, or vagueness, or.
I don't care if he actually killed vampires or not. He said he was. Off with his head.
We hope you enjoyed our episode. Thank you for listening. And to catch all the new episodes, please subscribe. We release 2 to 3 episodes weekly, so we'll have new content regularly. Until next time.